Welcome to Vima Learning. Let's break down another key GCSE maths question. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a revision hack. Ready? Let's get started.
Hello everyone, welcome to another GCSE question, and today we're going to be looking at standard form. Now, standard form is simply a way of writing very big numbers or very small numbers in a neat and compact manner using powers of 10. So let's say, for instance, right, that the distance between the Earth and the Sun is an estimated 15 billion meters. If we were to write 15 billion on paper in figures, it's going to look a little bit messy and it's going to be very easy to miscount the number of zeros. I think that should be about 9 to 10 zeros. But using standard form, it's going to look very neat and compact because we are using powers of 10. Now, one thing to know about standard form is that it appears in the form of a times 10 to the power of n. So to write a number in standard form, it always has to appear like this. Now, a is a number that's always going to be less than 10 or greater than or equal to 1. So it has to be less than 10 or greater than and equals to 1. So it's between 1 and 10. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but it cannot be 10. So it's between 1 and 10. Now, n itself is a positive or negative integer. So n is an integer rather. So it can be positive, it can be negative, and it can also be 0. So now that we have established this fact, let's go to our two examples. So the first example here is we should write 0.00046 in standard form. So the way to go about this is we move this decimal to a point where we have a number that is in between 1 and 10. Remember that these are zeros, so it doesn't satisfy the condition for a. So we move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we've gotten to this point. That means we've gotten to a point where we have a number that satisfies that condition, moving from left to right. So our answer becomes 4.6. 4.6 is representing the letter A times 10 to the power of minus 4. Now, the reason why it's minus 4 is because it's negative because we are moving from left to right. Then it is 4 because we moved 4 times. So the number of times you move from this 0 till you get to a point that gives you the letter A is going to take the power n. So we moved 4 times, that's why we have 4. And because we moved from left to right, that's why we have negative as our power. So the number 0.00046 becomes 4.6 times 10 to the power of minus 4. Now let's go to the second example. Right, let's go to the second example. So the second example says we should write 783,000 in standard form. Now for this second example, there's no decimal point, right? So we start from the end of the number. So we start from the end of the number and start going backwards till we get to a number that is in between 1 and 10. So we move 1, 2, 3. Now we can't stop here because if we put the decimal here, it becomes 783, which is obviously greater than 10. We move again. We also cannot stop here because 78.3, if we put the decimal here, is also a number that is greater than 10. So we go until we get to this point. Yes, we have gotten a number that satisfies A. So our answer for A is going to be 7.83. Then our power is going to be to the power of 5. Remember, we moved backwards, right? So we moved from right to left 5 times. Now because we moved backwards, it's going to be positive. That's why it's not the same negative power with question 1. So moving backwards is going to be positive, and then the number of times you move will always take the power. Same thing in the first example. So we moved backwards 5 times, and that's why our answer is 7.83 times 10 raised or 10 to the power of 5. And the reason why we put decimal between 7 and 8 is because it satisfies the condition for A. We cannot put it between 8 and 3 or 3 and 0. So this is how to do or answer questions in standard form. Thank you so much for your time. See you again. Bye-bye.
Thanks for learning with Vima Academy. To stay ahead in your studies and join our community of successful students, check out vimalearning.com. You can also find daily study hacks on our Instagram and TikTok at Vima Learning. Don't forget to like and subscribe to simplify your learning journey